Coming up next, a new allegation of abuse against Jerry Sandusky, just days before he's due back in court.
Plus, a popular Penn State coach talks about his family's battle against cancer.
I'm at home, she comes walking in and she just burst into tears.
Also ahead.
Coming up next, we're going to take a look into the lavish campaign spending by Pennsylvania lawmakers. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon. I'm Zach Kaplan.
And I'm Courtney Gyrie. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a big weather change after strong storms moved through central PA last night. Since then, the wind has been a major problem, and as of this morning, power was out to more than 2,000 West Penn Power customers. Let's go ahead and check in with our weather anchor, Matt, for more.
Thanks, Courtney. Our severe weather finally has moved out of the area, and our rain has moved on too. We're just under some cloudy skies here, but the wind is really howling. If we take a peek right now at our radar, we can see that our storm system has moved up into Canada, but our winds are howling behind it with that northwesterly flow that is bringing in those chillier temperatures. And if we look at the temperatures across central Pennsylvania right now, we can see we're in the mid to upper 30s right now, and we'll only get into the 40s for highs today and into the day tomorrow and through the weekend. So that's something that we're looking at right now. We'll time that out for you when I come back inside in just a few minutes, and we'll have your full 7-day forecast. We'll get back to you.
Thanks for that update, Matt. Last night's wild weather washed out Halloween in most of Center County. Trick-or-treating was canceled in State College and also Harris, College, Patton, and Ferguson townships. Officials were worried about kids' safety in central Pennsylvania after it fell under a tornado watch. Trick-or-treat is now officially rescheduled for tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m.
Convicted child sex abuser Jerry Sandusky is due in court next Friday for his resentencing, where there's now a new assault allegation against him. The crime allegedly happened in the Lasch football building sometime between 2000 and 2010. Sandusky is serving a 30 to 60-year prison sentence, but an appeals court ordered him to be resentenced because mandatory minimums were improperly applied. Sandusky is also asking to move his appeals process to federal court.
A year-long investigation claims state lawmakers have racked up millions of dollars in lavish spending. And it's all legal, but is it ethical? Reporter Katie Park has more on the story.
Pennsylvania's lax campaign finance rules allow state lawmakers to shield spending on travel, food, liquor, and other items from public scrutiny. According to a year-long joint investigation by news organizations Caucus and Spotlight PA, Penn State grad and former Daily Collegian editor-in-chief Sam Janish is an investigative reporter with Caucus.
We requested the documents and got receipts and credit card statements and uncovered nearly $3.5 million in this hidden spending.
The report says in most cases, the expenses were listed in publicly available campaign documents, but with vague entries like credit card or travel, which makes them tough to track.
Things like trips, both around the country and abroad, including the European trip, which was one of the more unusual things we saw for a state lawmaker to be doing with campaign money. And a lot of meals, bar tabs, even DNA test kits.
One of the names in the report is from Center County. Right here at Level 2 Nightclub in downtown Harrisburg, Senate Majority Leader Jake Corman of Center County allegedly spent over $1,900 in liquor expenses. The investigation claims Corman, a Republican, had more than $6,000 in spending for liquor from 2015 through 2017, all for gifts, according to the report. Corman's office did not respond to our request for comment. Other examples, the investigation says Senate Minority Leader Jay Costa, a Democrat, spent nearly $15,000 on Pittsburgh Penguins tickets, which his campaign says he gave away as gifts. State campaign finance rules put no limits on donations and have no outright ban on using money for personal expenses. State law only requires campaign accounts to be used for, quote, influencing the outcome of an election. State Representative Mike Jones from York County says he doesn't necessarily think the rules need to change.
I don't think we need a new law. I think as long as we have proper reporting, and what I read from this is we could use some more detail on the expenses themselves.
In all, the investigation found more than 4,800 instances of obscured spending by nearly 300 campaigns. I'm Katie Park for the Center County Report.
Pennsylvania and South Dakota are the only two states that don't explicitly ban or limit candidates from spending campaign donations on personal expenses. Pennsylvania lawmakers have so far dismissed efforts to impose more restrictions, arguing they're not needed as long as details about where the money comes from and how it's being spent are available to the public.
Speaking of politicians, Election Day is next Tuesday, and polls will be open from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. across the Commonwealth. It's an off-year election, but there are still some big items on this year's ballot. Pennsylvania has a victims' rights constitutional amendment question on Marsy's Law that would guarantee victims' rights in the state constitution, but there are legal challenges even if it passes. There are also a pair of vacancies on an appeals court, and there are also some local and county races. New legislation signed yesterday can make the most significant changes to modernize PA election laws in 80 years. Governor Wolf signed the bill, which authorizes the state to borrow up to $90 million to help counties buy new voting machines for next year. The bill also allows any voter to mail in a ballot for any reason and allows registration up to 15 days before the election.
The State College mayor's job is not on Tuesday's ballot, but the borough will most likely be looking for a new mayor after Election Day. Reporter Tom Johnston explains.
Don Hahn is the mayor of State College, but he may not be for long. He's running unopposed for magisterial district judge in Tuesday's election. Assuming he wins, he plans to resign his job as mayor next month, with 2 years left in his term. Judge Carmine Prestia holds the judge's seat, but he's retiring in January. If Hahn takes his place, it'll be a 6-year term. Hahn says if elected, he wants to help people who speak English as a second language.
People for whom English is a second language get more access to translators, better able to communicate.
Hahn also talked about a second priority, pro bono work.
Attorneys devote a certain amount of time essentially helping poor clients.
There's a unique process to find out who will fulfill the rest of Mayor Hahn's term. Councilman Murphy elaborates on that process.
This time, we're going to be asking for letters of interest for people who want to serve as mayor or who want to take up and serve in that responsibility.
Borough Council will choose a replacement for the mayor and has been meeting to develop the process. Members agreed to accept letters of interest by early November, hold public meetings, and vote on Hahn's replacement in December. But there's been disagreement and discussion over qualifications and other details. The mayor is paid $13,000. Council will hold a special meeting to decide when the replacement vote will happen. In State College, I'm Tom Johnston for the Center County Report.
State College had this situation once before back in 2009 when Mayor Bill Welch passed away during his tenure. Council appointed an interim, and then Elizabeth Gorham was elected to the position.
A new bill that will provide millions of dollars in grants to protect places of worship is set to be signed by the governor. The proposal came after the mass shooting at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue. Administered by the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, the bill creates a 5-year, $5 million grant program. The money can be used for efforts to strengthen safety at places of worship and community organizations. Grants will range from $5,000 to $150,000.
People in our area with relatives in California are watching and waiting to hear from their loved ones affected by the fires there. In Northern California, the Kincade Fire has burned nearly 80,000 acres in Sonoma County. Winds have died down there, and it's now 60% contained. But in the south, the Getty Fire is still raging and forced the evacuation of more than 7,000 homes. Across the country, Penn State students are watching and seeing what's happening back home.
It's very scary for my older cousins who have lived in their houses for like 45 years because it's everything that they own. So when I was home last summer, we were driving down the mountain to go back to where we live in the valley. We could see the entire Riverside fire, and it was just like, it was crazy. It was like a movie. It was just a straight line of just like giant flames just everywhere.
New fires started yesterday east of Los Angeles as winds gust to 60 miles an hour.
And the stormy weather is gone, but now it's starting to get cold again. Matt Yaroslavic is back with the weekend forecast coming up next.
Plus, Penn State hockey opens the Big Ten season with a bang. We have those highlights. Also coming up, children from all across Center County had the chance to trick or treat with some of their sports heroes. That's after the break.
I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling.
pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Hundreds of people stood in line for over an hour to get into a Halloween event this week at the Penn State All Sports Museum. Everyone from the Hulk to Snow White could be found enjoying this local tradition. Megan Drakus takes you inside.
Trick or treat. Over 1,500 kids went trick-or-treating through the Penn State All Sports Museum, which is a part of Beaver Stadium. Brooklyn Williams, a track and field athlete, was excited to take part in this event for the second year in a row.
Tonight, I'm having fun. I'm giving out candy to amazing kids dressed in the funniest costumes.
The football team, baseball team, and lots of other Penn State athletes came out to give some candy to some very happy kids. Some people here for the first time wanted to check out this Penn State event.
I saw it advertised last year. I thought maybe he was too small, but now that we have two, we really wanted to see the different things that you could do.
The event, which has been going on for 11 years, brought out princesses, stormtroopers, and even a dinosaur or two, and brought smiles to parents, kids, and the athletes.
And I have a niece and nephew at home, so I miss them dearly. So being able to come here and it's just I love kids. So seeing them just be happy and have fun, it's just awesome. It makes me feel like a kid.
For the Center County Report, I'm Megan Drakus.
The free event also included games and prizes, along with, of course, mounds of candy. And it was warm and dry there, unlike Halloween last night. Let's take a look with weather with Matt.
Thanks, Courtney. Yes, Halloween last night was very wet across most of the state. We dealt with those severe storms as well, but those have since moved out. And we're just dealing with the cloud cover right now over Beaver Stadium. And actually the winds are still howling out there, gusting to about 40 miles an hour. And last night we had a wind gust reported at Beaver Stadium of about 63 miles an hour. So the winds were really howling last night. 12 miles an hour right now currently, and 39 degrees outside, but it's feeling like 32 with that wind chill. Temperatures mid to upper 30s there across the center of the state. And if we zoom out a little bit, that's really the trend across most of the state, except for Allentown and Philadelphia, already into the 50s. But other than those two areas in the southeast, we'll be hanging in the 40s for our high temps across the state. Radar and satellite right now, not much on it. A few little blips here. There was a few lake effect snow flurries that were happening here across the lake, but just the clouds. And as we look where our storm system is now, it's well up into Canada, and we're seeing that flow wrap around off the Great Lakes, and that is bringing in those chillier temperatures, which will hang around for the weekend. The only thing that will be impacting the weather for our weekend, it's really only the northwestern part of the state. We have a piece of shortwave energy that's moving in just north of the Great Lakes, and that will move through and potentially produce some lake effect snow showers there in the early morning hours of Sunday. But for today, no precipitation in the forecast. 45 degrees will be your high, and those winds will still be gusting up to about 40 miles an hour. Tonight, we drop below freezing, but it will be clear, 28 degrees. So if you're heading out, make sure you take a jacket tonight. And tomorrow, we could hit 50 degrees here in State College with those sunny skies still out, and that wind will still be hanging around about 5 to 10 miles an hour. A look at your 7-day forecast. It's not too bad. We're looking at when you put the clock back on Saturday night late, we'll drop back in that hour of sleep. We get that back, and then the temperatures will hang around in the 50s as we head towards the middle part of next week, but no rain in the forecast.
I think I speak for all three of us when we say that hour of sleep coming at a great time here in the semester.
I know. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Speaking of sports, well, let's send it over to Brian McLaughlin, who has the latest. Brian?
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, we'll recap the games from the Penn State men's and women's soccer teams. Plus, Penn State hockey opened its Big Ten slate against Wisconsin last night. We've got the highlights and Coach Godowski's reaction. Stick around.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I'm Brian McLaughlin with sports. Penn State hockey took on the Wisconsin Badgers in their first Big Ten contest of the season last night, still looking to find their identity. I was there to take in the action. Penn State started off quickly as Sam Sternshine got the Lions on the board just 47 seconds in. They went up 2-0 before Cole Caulfield struck for Wisconsin with 5 seconds left in the period. 2-1 Penn State after the first.
I guess if you want to encompass it one word, we want to play fast and we want to play hard. And I thought we saw a lot of that, both of those tonight.
But just over a minute into the second period, Alex Stevens threw a puck on net that went past goaltender Daniel Lebedev to put Penn State back up by 2. Dennis Smirnov scored later in the period on a power play to put Penn State up 4-1. Penn State goalie Peyton Jones also continued his hot start to the season with 38 saves, helping the Nittany Lions extend their lead.
Save's a save, and I'm glad I can make them and help the guys out. So
Penn State would add a pair of goals from Nate Soucis and Arnie Talvitia in the third period, both on the power play, after Roman Ashan took a 5-minute major penalty with a brutal hit on Dennis Smirnov. The Lions would go on to win 6-1, improving to 5-1 on the season and 1-0 in Big Ten play.
Yeah. I mean, that was the highest quality game we played by far this year. And
Penn State will finish the series with Wisconsin tonight at 6 o'clock, and you can listen to the game live on Penn State Com Radio. Penn State football heads into its second bye week as the 5th-ranked team in the country. The team held a scrimmage on Tuesday with the non-travel portion of the roster participating. After practice, head coach James Franklin spoke to the media about their next opponent, the unbeaten Minnesota Golden Gophers.
I'm impressed. When I watch them on tape, the thing that I think they're doing a good job is they know how to win. You know, early in the season they had to battle, but they found a way to get the win, and they're playing winning football on offense, defense, and special teams.
Kickoff for the Minnesota game is at noon, and you can listen to the game on Penn State Com Radio. It's playoff time for the State High Little Lions. The District 6 champions are coming off a 33-21 win over Cumberland Valley in the Beaver Stadium Classic last weekend to finish the regular season with a 9-1 record. Next up, State College will meet District 10 champion Erie McDowell to open the postseason. Head coach Matt Lintow says while the Little Lions are riding high after the win at Beaver Stadium, they shouldn't get carried away.
We had a blast last week. It was unbelievable. It was a phenomenal atmosphere, one that we won't be able to replicate, you know, no matter what happens, even if we're in the state championship. But, you know, that's done. You know, we got to move forward. We're grateful for everything that we had and that opportunity, but now we're on to the next week.
The game against McDowell is set for next Friday. Penn State men's soccer wraps up the regular season this weekend at Rutgers. The Lions hosted Maryland in a top 20 matchup Tuesday, and it was a high-scoring showdown at Jeffrey Field. It started off with 2 early goals by the Terps, with strikes from Eli Cronaley and Justin Geelan. The Nittany Lions came right back at Maryland with 2 more goals from Brandon Hackenberg and Kyle May. Regulation ended tied 2-2. In overtime, Christian Slode called game with a golden goal, capping off senior night for Penn State. Penn State women's soccer is gearing up for the Big Ten quarterfinal this Sunday against Iowa. Last time they faced each other, the Nittany Lions won 2-0. The winner will play in Piscataway, New Jersey on November 8th. Now, some things are much bigger than sports. Mo Cooper, the wife of Penn State baseball coach Rob Cooper, was diagnosed with breast cancer in early September. The support from the community has been overwhelming and helped her over the past 2 months. Take a look.
You know, I'm at home. She comes walking in and she just burst into tears.
In early September, Mo Cooper came home from the doctor's office and had to tell her husband, Rob, that the doctors thought she had breast cancer.
First you find out and all you hear is the word cancer.
The Penn State Athletic Department and the baseball team have been instrumental in helping Rob and Mo during these first few months. The team even surprised Mo with flowers and a signed card one day before practice.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. You know, our guys are awesome. They've been unbelievable supportive. You know, the pink ribbons that are painted on the field is because one of our players asked Matt Neary to put them on there.
Since Cooper announced on Twitter that Mo was diagnosed with breast cancer back in early September, she has received so much support from the State College and Penn State community. People have sent flowers, cards, and even little stuffed minion dolls that show that they are truly one of Mo's minions. The hashtag Mo's Minions has become a rallying cry for everyone supporting Mo.
You know, I was sending her different like GIFs and funny things the other day, and I sent her a couple minion ones, and she really likes those and you know, thinks those movies are funny. Same here, and so it's just kind of something that stuck.
Mo even took one of the stuffed minions that Rob gave her into surgery in early October. Throughout the process, her attitudes helped keep everyone's spirits up.
And my wife is, you know, just an unbelievably tough woman, and you know, she's kicking its butt right now.
In University Park, I'm Brian McLaughlin for the Center County Report. Mo Cooper had surgery last month, and doctors think there's a good chance she will not need chemotherapy. Rob continues to update his followers on Twitter with much of Mo's progress, and we wish her a full and fast recovery. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Brian. Obviously, a very emotional story about the Coopers. Our thoughts and prayers are with them here at the anchor desk as well. Coming up next, it's a taste of Hollywood right here in central Pennsylvania. We'll tell you about a weekend-long event at a historic venue in Phillipsburg. That's next.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
A half dozen award-winning feature films will be shown next weekend as the inaugural Center Film Festival happens down in Phillipsburg. This weekend-long festival will take place at the historic Roland Theater, which recently hosted a premiere of the movie Shooting Heroin, which was filmed in the area. Next Friday through Sunday, the theater will host a film festival that includes a world premiere, short films, features, and a showcase of work by area high school students. There will also be live music and classes led by film and documentary professionals. Tickets are available online and at the door.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed. That's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Better check that one out. Join us for our next newscast on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
No.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Your daughter is having trouble learning French. Do you A, hire a tutor?
Bonjour.
B, enforce a French-only rule at home? Or C, watch some foreign films? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.